I have never been a quitter. To leave office before my term is completed is abhorrent to every instinct in my body. But as president, I must put the interests of America first. Therefore, I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow. Vice President Ford will be sworn in as president at that hour in this office.
August 8th, 1974, remembered as the day Richard Nixon resigned from office. Now, 48 years later, Donald Trump becomes the first ex-president to have the FBI execute a search warrant on his home. Trump posted just before 7 p.m. last night that Mar-a-Lago was, quote, currently under siege, raided, and occupied by a large group of FBI agents, adding, quote, they even broke into my safe. A source familiar with the search tells NBC News the investigation is related to the transfer of classified government documents from the White House to Mar-a-Lago. The National Archives reported in February that 15 boxes of documents were improperly taken to the president's Florida estate when he left office. At the time, the agency said it had asked the Justice Department to investigate. A source familiar with the situation tells NBC News boxes of documents were seized during yesterday's FBI search. Trump's attorney released a statement claiming the former president and his legal team have been cooperative with the FBI and DOJ, quote, every step of the way. Trump slammed the search as, quote, prosecutorial misconduct, the weaponization of the justice system, and an attack by radical left Democrats who desperately don't want me to run for president in 2024.
Actually, they do, because if you run, Democrats know they'll win. So you got that wrong, too. But I'm sorry, Mika, go ahead.
The former president was in New York City at the time of the search as he prepares to be deposed in the state's civil case against the Trump Organization. He left Trump Tower last night without commenting. Good morning and welcome to Morning Joe. It's Tuesday, August 9th. And Joe, I want to hear your thoughts off the bat, but keeping in mind, I believe the head of the FBI was appointed by Trump?
Yeah, called him a great guy, a man of the highest integrity. It's just like all these people that are testifying against Donald Trump in the January 6th hearings. They're all Trumpers. The guy running the FBI, a Trumper, appointed by Donald Trump. These aren't left-wing Democrats. But, you know, it's interesting. Vladimir Putin, he doesn't believe in the rule of law. She doesn't, laughs at the idea of the rule of law. Orban, the hero of right-wing freaks in America, he doesn't believe in the rule of law. They all systematically work to break down the rule of law, just like Donald Trump. The only problem is that we Americans, we still believe that no man is above the law. We still believe in the rule of law. That's why Donald Trump is under investigation right now in Georgia for trying to steal an election. It's why the DOJ is investigating Donald Trump for leading a failed, because you'll notice I use the words Donald Trump at the beginning of the sentence. Donald Trump is under investigation for leading a failed fascist coup against the United States on January the 6th. And he's also under investigation for seizing classified documents from the White House after he left and taking them down to Mar-a-Lago, which is very rich. The irony of it all, the lock her up chance because of some emails that may have been classified later. But Donald Trump, he grabbed classified documents, put them in boxes, and fled for Mar-a-Lago. The ones that he didn't tear up and flush down toilets. The ones that he didn't tear up and destroy and throw in garbage cans. The evidence he didn't destroy. You see, yesterday, it was that last possible crime that Donald Trump committed that brought the FBI lawfully and legally to Donald Trump's front doors as they tried to find those documents tried to get to the bottom of all of this with legal search warrants. And again, legal search warrants. And that's what's so fascinating here. You had people last night screeching on other networks. These are other networks that have been attacking our men and women in uniform, that have been attacking the FBI since Donald Trump came to office. They love the FBI until, well, they started supporting a man who broke laws, who has contempt for the law, who believes he is above the law. Well, this morning, August 9th, 2022, we are reminded again that in America, no man is above the law. And